Okay, let's dive into this. Because we all know that universal nuisance of having to prove we're actual, living, breathing humans online. It's just a daily ritual at this point, right? But what happens when the very test designed to protect you gets completely flipped and weaponized against you? Welcome to this explainer on the Captcha illusion. Today we're unpacking a really clever, kind of terrifying scam that tricks people into compromising their own machines.
Seriously? Think about your daily internet routine for just a second. How many times a week, or let's be real, a day, do you have to prove you aren't a robot? It's repetitive. It's almost an entirely unconscious action. We click the box, we select pictures of the buses, and we just move on. It's meant to be a security checkpoint, sure, but it's basically become a mindless habit for every single one of us.
Let's ground ourselves real quick by looking at how this evolved. You've definitely squinted at the classic distorted text test before. Trying to guess if that weird squiggly blob is a C or maybe a G. This is our baseline. This is what a real, legitimate Captcha test looks like.
And of course, there are the modern standard versions. Clicking literally every single square that has a traffic light in it, or just checking that super familiar "I'm not a robot" box right next to the blue looping arrows. We do this so often, it is practically muscle memory. It's a completely mundane process. We just rush through it so we can finally get to the website we actually wanted to see in the first place.
But here is where the twist comes in. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how scammers have figured out a way to seamlessly mimic these exact familiar screens. They're combining the Google logos, the checkboxes, the standard layouts, making the whole shebang look perfectly normal. They're actively banking on our muscle memory to completely lower our guard.
As you likely know, this is absolutely a textbook example of social engineering. See, rather than trying to bust through a firewall with some incredibly complex code, they are literally just tricking users into opening the front door for them. They're just hijacking a routine we already do every day.
Federico Giovannetti, who is an assistant professor of cybersecurity over at the University of Tampa, actually hits the nail on the head here. He notes, a lot of people just work on automatic, right? They don't stop to think, why am I doing this? And that is it. That human psychology, our tendency to just go on autopilot the second we see a familiar security check, that's the actual vulnerability being exploited.
That autopilot tendency is exactly what brings us to the central threat. And this brilliantly illustrates the whole trap. Take a look at these totally bizarre instructions. It mimics a standard Google verification, yeah? But it asks for keyboard shortcuts. That right there is your massive, glaring red flag.
So let's break down what these confusing commands actually do in plain English. Step 1 tells you to hold the Windows key and press R. Well, that opens a hidden run command box on your computer. Step 2 tells you to hit Ctrl+V. That pastes a hidden, totally malicious script that was secretly copied to your computer's clipboard the very second that fake Captcha window popped up. And Step 3, pressing Enter, that executes the script. Boom. In 3 quick keystrokes, you have just downloaded malware directly onto your machine.
And what exactly did you just inadvertently download? Well, security researchers have identified the severe threat installed by these specific steps as a really nasty piece of malware known as StealC.
The fallout from StealC is massive. It is designed to quietly scoop up your most sensitive data. We're talking saved passwords, login credentials, all the stuff stored in your browser. Eva Velasquez, the CEO of the Identity Theft Resource Center, warns that these hackers might even be able to take live screenshots of your computer while you're using it. She describes this malware as an absolute all-access pass to literally anything you're doing online.
So the crucial point is this golden rule. Legitimate Captchas will never, ever ask you to run commands or use keyboard shortcuts. Never. If you ever hit a page that asks you to press the Windows key or hit Ctrl+V to prove you're human, do not do it. Stop immediately and just close the window. As Professor Giovannetti suggests, you don't need to be paranoid, but you absolutely have to be skeptical when you're asked to do things you don't normally experience online.
Okay, but what if you're listening to this and thinking, uh-oh, I might have actually followed those instructions? You need to act quickly. The Identity Theft Resource Center recommends these rapid-fire recovery steps. 1. Disconnect your computer from the internet immediately to just sever the hacker's connection. 2. Run a full antivirus scan. 3. Change your important passwords, but, and this is key, make sure you do this using a completely separate, unaffected device. And 4. Closely monitor your financial accounts for literally any suspicious activity.
It's also really worth noting that you aren't alone if this happens to you. Nonprofits like the Identity Theft Resource Center provide completely free recovery services. They can even help you out in real time if you hit a strange prompt and you just aren't sure what to do.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with something to think about. Our daily internet routines are completely built on speed and convenience, right? Well, that is exactly what these bad actors are counting on. They're using our own habits against us. So the next time a screen pops up asking you to prove you're human, are you going to be on autopilot, or will you take just one single second to stop, look at the instructions, and make sure you aren't inadvertently opening the front door for a hacker? Stay safe and stay focused out there.
If you found this breakdown helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, share this with a friend, and stay safe out there.